Well, end of wiring day one. It's a bit of a mess. I unplugged it so you can't see it, but there's the breaker panel. So there's the 40 amp service coming in, or 30 amp service coming into the trailer. So this is the big black wire that you plug into 30 amp service at the campsite. And then two other breakers. I might buy mini breakers to break these up so I have 4 breakers instead of 2. But basically we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plugs on 2 breakers, which is not bad. And then of course the one wire goes to the 12 volt side, and that's been a little bit more difficult to get ready. I mean, the 110 volt wires are already run. I'm gonna clean them up tomorrow. I already had that plug working over there. But again, I unplugged the trailer, but I'm just gonna go to bed now. So the 12 volt stuff I've been playing with. So the 12 volt, this whole circuit is plugged into this this little black wire onto this 15 amp right there. And then when you get in here, so those are the boxes I'm gonna install tomorrow. But so you got the 12 volt stuff. You got coming from the battery. That's what this wire is for. I believe this is going back to the battery for charging, and I have to figure that out because it's driving me crazy. Then you have your 5 black wires, which are your 12 volt items here, and you have your 1 white, which is ground. So what I did is I, just quickly, now thankfully it's unplugged, I quickly tied in the black wire to this one for testing. So this guy, we went on Amazon, we got the voltmeter, the voltage meter, and you'll see it working tomorrow. But then we also got this charging station back here. So this is the on switch for the charging station, and then 4 2.1 amp USBs, and then 1 12 volt cigarette adapter. So that's all wired. We had it working, tested it. I mean, it's not pretty yet, because what they don't ship with this is a ground block. So you have to buy a separate ground block. And thanks for letting me know now. To plug all the white back feeds. Now, the original trailer, basically what they had is they had the end of this wire on the old fuse panel going to one massively huge Moret. And so they had all the white wires from all the various 12 volt devices plugged into this one Moret. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get a proper block, ground block, and just attach it here. I also made sure that this guy is working. So this guy I had just had basically onto the power, the black and the white. This is our propane alarm. So if the propane tank's leaking into the trailer, it sends us an alert. So I have to make sure this guy's working. So I did. The other thing is I'm trying to figure out how to get the lights working. I'm not even sure what wires are coming out. So this is all the wires coming from underneath the trailer right here. So I have to figure out what each one of these wires does, and figure out where they go. This is the ground to the trailer itself. This is plugged, this is screwed into the frame. So the white positive or the white negative from the battery out front is attached to the frame. And so this thing has to be attached to that block here. So I have to get a block to ground the trailer so I can charge the battery, because this thing is this guy going to there, attaches to this guy. Now this is black, but this is the wire that goes straight to the red battery terminal for internal 12 volt power. And this thing supposedly will charge the battery while it's plugged into 120 volts, and you can live off the 12 volts when you're off grid, as they say. And I do have some solar panels that I want to connect to this thing to charge it if we ever go off grid. 3 or 4 that we've been picking up here and there. So that's going to be a factor into this. So if we ever do decide to go off grid, of course we won't be able to use the fridge going off grid, but we'll be able to use everything else, the lights and the Well, obviously, we have propane stoves for everything, so we don't have to worry about that. The only thing we have to worry about is the fridge. And we'll just bring coolers and stuff. But I wouldn't mind trying going way out, quote unquote, into the wilderness, underground land somewhere, and just see what happens living off grid, way out in the sticks. I didn't bother connecting this thing yet, like plugging it so it clips into the box here, because I might, want to remove it and do other stuff. And this guy doesn't have a connector or a holder of wires here yet either, because I don't actually have any, and they didn't ship any with the fuse panel, the breaker panel. So I have to get 3 of those. This one, this is just from the old fuse panel, and it fits perfectly into this hole, so it clips in there, so I don't have to worry about that. But I do need 3 wire holders for the other 120 volt wires coming in. So this, there it is right here. This wire here goes that way, and it goes to that plug over there, which I already showed you that works. This wire here goes underneath there, and it goes to the plug for the fridge, which I'll install tomorrow. It goes to the plug that used to be over there. It goes to the plug that's there. It's hidden right now, and then the plug that's there. So it's got 4 plugs on one circuit. I'm not happy with that, so I'm probably going to run a separate circuit. Again, that's why I want to buy the mini breakers. So instead of having 2 breakers, we'll have 4 breakers, and put the fridge on a breaker all by itself, and get all the other plugs separated, because we do use electric heat. We do have 2 electric heaters, 400 watt, and this is what blew up our old breaker panel. Now I did the actual math, so 800 watts is a lot less than 15 amps. I can't remember what the actual number was, but still, it didn't matter. It still caused, because there was corrosion on the connector between the actual breakers and the panel. There was corrosion that caused heat, it warmed up, and that's what caused the breakers to melt themselves, which is why we had to remove it. Supposedly this one will not do that. My fingers are crossed. It shouldn't. The one thing about this one is all plastic except for the connection points for the breakers. That's okay. I was actually thinking about sourcing a pony panel, like just a regular 120 volt pony panel, and putting that in here, like I put in the garage. The thing about that is I would still have to get some sort of 12 volt converter if I want to run the lights and everything. Like, I mean, I can just keep on buying the 12 volt converters there that take but no, I just rather have the 12 volt system working. And this one did come with five connectors for 12 volts. So I'm going to be using all 5. I do have to now because the old fuse panel only had 4 positions, 1 main, 40 amp, and then 3 more of these guys. So I don't have enough blade fuses for this, because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't know, oh, sorry, that's going back to the battery. That's the other red one. So these are the 5 black wires, fuses for the black wires. And I don't have enough, and Canadian Tire is hard to get to right now. It's a curbside pickup. But I'm gonna connect everything up, I'm gonna test the fuses, and we're not going to go anywhere, so I'll have to order them in the future. Happy we got it. This is the cover. Where's the cover? I had the cover. Let me get up. Well, I was going to show you the cover, but the cover, obviously I put somewhere. And it's probably underneath all this mess over here. I had it out here. Oh, there it is. The instructions. So this is the cover. It hooks under there, and then you have access to your breakers. So I'll have to take those 2 pieces out. But I'm happy with it. I'm glad we got it. I'm glad we changed it. Everything I read online says the original breaker panel we had in here was going to go anyway. It was a known issue with it and the corrosion on the terminal leads that right on the breakers. So what happened was that this whole breaker just melted. It didn't trip, which annoyed me. But of course it wasn't drawing more amps than it should. It was still just drawing less than 15 amps, but because of the corrosion on the contacts, a lot of heat heat melted this, and then when the whole thing was melted, then it sparked, and the trailer went dead. Whatever. So I had this thing on the entire time, and this fan didn't start spinning at all. This is the converter to go from 120 to 12. I did have my cell phone charging, so there wasn't using a lot of 12 volt energy over there at the our charging station, but that fan didn't kick in once. I'm hoping tomorrow I'm going to have something more permanent in here, and I can show it to you guys then. So look forward to tomorrow's video of this, because I might show it to you all working. So everybody have a good night. So that's the gas line for the heater, which is right there. So I have to install that, and that's also running on 12 volts. So again, if we go off grid, we will still have heat, propane heat. This is the only propane line left in the trailer. We took out the propane line that went to the stove here, and there was a propane line that went out there to wherever you hooked on the stove in the side of the trailer. They didn't want any of that. Not necessary. We're not going to cook anywhere near the trailer. But I had to keep that one propane line. And so now there's two holes coming through the bottom of the trailer. There's this one for the propane line, and there's one here right in the corner here where all the 12 volt lines are coming up. When I ripped everything out, there was at least 11 or 12 holes coming up, holes through the floor for wiring and propane and whatever else. I'm going, oh, the more holes you have in your floor, the more chance that critters are going to get in. And yes, they sealed them as they could, but why have that many holes in the first place? I love this trailer. I really do love StarCraft trailers. They always look good. They seem to last a long time. You know, there's Jayco, and my buddy Brandon just bought one too, and the name escapes me right now, but it's also a good brand. I've always StarCraft, I think it's because of the video game. I like it so much. But this thing is 16 years old. The shell is very, very good. This back wall was a little bit. All right, let's show you that over here. So this is the angle iron that I showed you in the other video, and these are the bolts that come through, and I might cut off these bolts, but they're not in the way, right? Because the bed comes out farther, so you don't actually see the angle iron's not interfering, and the bolts aren't interfering. I might put a piece of wood in front of it just to hide it, or paint it, I don't know. And it goes all the way over there, and it goes all the way over to there. So this worked out remarkably well. This back end's very, very solid now. Without adding too much more weight to it, I tried to keep speaking of weight, I tried to keep the cabinets as light as the old ones. It's pretty close. The weight came from the floor. We added a lot of weight when we put the floor in. This is 1/2 inch flooring, 4 boxes, and I can't remember what each box weighed, but they weighed quite a bit. But we wanted a nice floor in here. So does it pull harder on the van? I notice it a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about it because the van can still hold it. What I do plan on doing when this is all done is I plan on going across the weigh scales and figuring out how much the trailer actually weighs. But we'll worry about that later. So there's the update for now. We're going to do some more work on it tomorrow, but we do have a good start on the electrical. We do have to order a few pieces, unfortunately, but that won't stop us from putting everything else in, because I do want to put the electrical boxes in. There's going to be one right in here for the fridge. There's going to be one on top, as they said, for the microwave. It's going to be in the back there, hidden behind this thing. This is going to be removed. I don't know how I'm going to do it because I can't pull the wires out. So I just might moret it. I won't put a box there, but I'll figure it out. And I'm going to cut a hole here because there's a plug right behind here. That plug's already attached, which is fine. It's already wired. Don't have to touch it. So that's tomorrow's project, to get all those other plugs up and running. And so without painting, without doing all the finishing touches, we will be able to go camping. And that's what we want. Just if we can get out camping at some point on a drop of a hat, the trailer will be ready. So at the end of day tomorrow, we will be able to go camping. I mean, it's not going to be, finished, but it'll be usable. And I'm happy about that. So you guys all stay safe, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.